Hello and welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute-a-day podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse, recorded here in the dining room of the Bible Bistro, located in Sharonville, Ohio. Hey there friends, welcome back to Daily Dose Radio here in the Bible Bistro. And today in the Bible Bistro and all this week we're looking at Psalm 18, verses 11 through 20. Today verses 11 and 12, and we began last week as we started this section, which I call the Theophany section. This is God's theophany of prayer. So as soon as David prays in verse 6, "In my distress I called upon the Lord," as soon as he makes that prayer, something happens. The earth is shaken, smoke goes up, he bows the heavens and comes down. He rides upon a cherub. And then we come to verse 11 and 12, and we continue this theophany. He constituted darkness as his hiding place surrounding him, his glorious tent, dark waters and thick clouds. The brightness before him, his thick clouds passed by, hailstones and coals of fire. So that's verses 11 and 12. And you notice that we're still in this section of God coming down at the response of the psalmist praying. Now, of course, this is the song of David's deliverance. We had his prayer of deliverance in 17. We have the recounting of this deliverance here in 18 as he praises God for all that he's done in delivering him from his enemies. And so when he's recounting this in the song, of course he's going to mention his prayer, and he does that in verse 6 after he says, it's as bad as it could get because the cords of hell surround me. But then in 6 he says, and I called upon the Lord. This is really Jonah's story too, isn't it? When the seaweed surrounded his head, and while in the belly of hell, he prayed to the Lord, and the Lord heard and answered his prayer. Well, here David tells us about the Lord answering his prayer, but it's not just one motion, it's several motions. God is coming down. He rises up. He rears up in a sense. He's, the excitement of all this activity, the fire burning, the shaking and all that. And then he comes down, and now we are on a battle footing because here in verse 11, we have his glorious tent. I think the King James calls this his pavilion. This is his battle tent. So he strikes a battle pose. He has his pavilion, that is, the place where the king abides on the battlefield. It is glorious. It is majestic. It is marvelous. I tried to combine those two words there, didn't I? It is majestic and marvelous. It's intimidating because it is darkness. It's his hiding place, and it surrounds him. Thick darkness is what Moses walked into, and so thick darkness is what we have here. And then there's brightness. So we have darkness and brightness. We have thick clouds, and it's all before him. And it's hailstones and coals of fire. So the weapons are out. You remember whenever Egypt was judged, this was one of the judgments against Egypt. The lightning and the thunder and the hailstones and the fire that ran along the ground as the hailstones fell. And there hadn't been hailstones like it since or before. They were so large. So this is God's majesty declaring not only his threatenings in the hailstones, but also his mercy in the fire, that he wants to burn away the dross of sin. And he's going to punish those who stand in his way. If you're arrogant enough to stand out in the field when the hailstones are falling, saying that God won't do a thing to you, then friend, you deserve what you get. No, it's not like that, is it? His hailstones and coals of fire represent both his judgment and his mercy. And so God is bringing that with him. Why? Because he's going to answer your prayer. He's looking to answer your prayer. So tomorrow, we're going to look at verses 13 and 14. We're still in this theophany section, and we'll see there that the Lord thunders in the heavens. So he's now making his voice heard as the prayer is being prayed. Join me then tomorrow, and I'll see you here on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. For more fresh and delicious Bible studies, podcasts, books, and more, Check out the Bible Bistro online and on YouTube. Join me again next time for Daily Dose Radio.